Hey, by the way, tonight's game, New York wins that outright.
You know he's on top. Million subs, he never gonna flop. Out of Chicago, where the streets don't sleep. Betting on games, making cash real deep. Crystal ball for sports, he knows the lines. He's a sports aficionado, the money he finds. From football to basketball, he's always on point. Predicting winners never disappoints. He's got that hustle, that Chicago vibe. Making moves on the streets, cash on the side. With E, you know it's always a bet. He's the king of the game, never forget.
Hello and welcome to the Etoft21sports show for November 18th. How is everyone doing? My name is Eric. I'm the man behind Etoft21sports. Absolutely loaded episode for you today. Gino from Drf.com will have his horse racing by the day from Churchill Downs. And Tyler, a.k.a. King Midas Bets, is coming on, and him and I are going to look back at Week 11, plus share our Week 12 bets. But before I get all that, I'd like to say thank you to the sponsor of the show, Prop X. Guys, go to Prop X, download the app, use promo code ETOFT21. That way they know old Uncle Rico sent you. Peer-to-peer betting is the future of the sports betting industry, so make sure you go there, download that. We saw it this weekend with some of these books, aka Caesars, refusing to pay out some winners. But I'm not here to badmouth Caesars. I'm here to give you guys some winners, and let's shift our attention over to Gino's horse racing bet of the day from Churchill Downs.
Graded stakes action this weekend at Churchill Downs. My best bet for the week is going to come on Saturday, November the 22nd. We're going to go to race number 10. It's the Grade 3 Commonwealth Turf. Horse that's a little bit interesting to me in here is Montador. I mean, you look at this one's overall body of work. It's really lightly raced. He's done almost nothing wrong. Career debut, loses to a horse named Pascaline, who comes back out of that race to win next time out. You can take a look at the chart here in your daily racing form, past performances. That's on the dirt. Then change it. Then after the 2024 race, off for almost a year. Shows back up in July of 2025 at Colonial, and all we get are grass races, winning 3 out of 4, crossing the wire first in 3 out of 4, got DQ'd in one of them. And then in the loss, 2 starts back on October the 4th at Keeneland. That's a really good second behind tenacious leader. Montador came right back to win the next start. He's got speed, but he can sit close. He can pass horses. I like him quite a bit in here. Montador. It's going to be race number 10 at Churchill Downs. It's the Grade 3 Commonwealth Turf. And if you're looking, I'm kind of curious about the projectors and the numbers and everything, Montador is the number 3 in here. They have him sitting a pretty good trip, sitting like 3rd or 4th here on the projectors. So best of luck playing the races this weekend. Head to shop.drf.com anytime you're playing the races.
Make sure to give my boy Gino B a follow on X. He's doing great stuff at drf.com. I believe him and I will be live tomorrow night talking some NFL and stuff too, so make sure to check that out. Now, let's welcome this week's special guest, Texas State football's #1 fan, my boy from down in the dirty of Texas, King Midas Becht. How you doing today, my man?
Doing good. Glad to be back on in the thick of football season. Love it.
The thick of football season. We got action going on right now. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know the score. What's going on there?
Last time I put out Akron today, getting 3. Last time I checked, they were up 3. So let me check again. We got Akron up 6, 19-13, 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I gave them out as underdogs today. Said sprinkle the money line on them as well. Felt like the wrong team was favored there. Bowling Green lost 4 in a row, 2 home blowout losses in those 4 games. Akron, not better than you expected, but better than a lot of people expected this year.
You know what, dude? I am grinding. I have them at over 4.5 wins, and I am literally
tonight's the night.
Definition of grinding them out. I only did basketball today, and I'm going to tell everyone this. There is a mid-major team that I absolutely love. They went down to an ACC team, played them wire to wire, had a bad 4-minute span, made another run, got within 7, Then Florida State a couple threes. UT Martin is a real deal.
Yeah.
They have,
Their coach is saying, I'm sticking around and building the next Gonzaga. I'm not leaving. Now I don't believe him, but but he's got people hyped up and he says he loves it there. So
I kind of like what he did. Like he went, they're all European dudes.
yeah.
Like it's basically Illinois light. They're all European dudes, all dudes that can flat out ball. I absolutely love what I am seeing from UT Martin. I played them I done plus 24, and I did a little sprinkle on the money line 25-1. And I'll tell you what, it was interesting until it was interesting. Halftime was interesting, and then they started out slow, 10-2 run by Florida State, and they never really looked back. Then I played me a little Wichita State plus 9.5 against Boise, and 2-point game with 17 left to play. So
there you go.
Sat out, tried to get home the old Akron over 4.5. Dude, I'm pissed because I almost took UMass plus the number
Tonight.
They're 3 or something. It was
they're down 14, and they were getting, a million.
It was absurd. But dude, I was pissed off. I played them last week. I was gun shy. I played them last week. I couldn't pull the fucking trigger, dude.
Yeah, they were, I think, 34-point dogs. They're down 14 in the fourth quarter. Probably looking pretty good there if you played it. But hey, never lost money by holding off. Get your money in the right spot, and you'll be all right.
Hey, you know what, dude? I'm not gonna lie. I should have played him, and I'm kind of kicking myself but it is what it is. Let's go ahead. Interesting week 11. Interesting to hear what your takeaway from the week is.
Yeah.
What you got, my friend?
Yeah, so I'm talking NFL on my takeaway. Talk about the ACC, or the AFC, and think back. You were talking about your season wins future on Akron, going back to the beginning of the season. Think about the teams that were really projected at that point to be your playoff locks, your division winners, and your Super Bowl contenders at this point in the season. And vast majority of the people are going to say Ravens, Bills, Chiefs. Those were the top three. So my takeaway after and it's based on the Patriots win, which was very expected, but also the Broncos win over the Chiefs. ESPN's projections, using all of their analytics, doesn't mean everything in the world. The top three teams to make the playoffs out of the AFC and the top three teams to make the Super Bowl in likelihood out of the AFC: Broncos, Patriots, Colts. Who had that at the beginning of the year?
So, I had the Colts to win the South. I'll give myself that. Like I had them to win the South. I did have the Chiefs not to make the playoffs. The Ravens are a little interesting to me. But yeah, football is weird because you don't know what's going to happen. There could be a million. Anytime you get a weird shaped ball and you put these high level athletes on the field, weird shit can happen. You know what I mean? And I think what you're saying just kind of illustrates that, because you're right. Who the hell would have had those three teams?
The stats they put out there for make the playoffs: Broncos 97%, Patriots 97%, Colts 93%. I'm like, why is it only 93% for the Colts? Then if you go make the Super Bowl odds, Broncos 17%, Patriots 10%, Colts 20%. You add that up, that's 47%. We basically have a 50-50 shot at one of those three teams being in the Super Bowl, which means people that got on that early are going to get paid very well for it. But there's going to be a lot of, if it works out that way, a lot of money on the Bills, Chiefs, Ravens down the drain for a lot of people.
And we all have rules. Like, I try not to play any of these small favorites. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anything less than 10-1, I tend to hold back a little bit. I'm trying to think what Super Bowl. I think the only two teams I did Super Bowl futures on, I was like with Lions 12-1 and the 49ers 20-1. Those are only two. You know what I mean?
49ers, that's a good bet on the 49ers. I mean, they're the most injury ravaged team.
Yeah,
They just keep winning.
I did it before the season. You know what I mean? I think it's a
but
great.
even with the injuries, they just keep winning.
This is my thing. When I step back and kind of play out the last couple of years of the Atlanta Falcons, I have no idea what the fuck they're doing. Now, I went on a Falcons rant a couple weeks ago. I'm on another Falcons rant. I'm not even a fan of the Atlanta Falcons. But when I look back at it, you had a chance to bring in Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches in the history of sport. Instead, you went with Raheem Morris. Now, look, with everything that has come out with what's going on in North Carolina, maybe avoiding Belichick ends up to be the right play long term. Yep. But at the time, to me, it wasn't. You have college coaches, you have pro coaches. Belichick's a pro coach. I really think they should have hired him and instantly would have made the franchise better. Then that same offseason, you go out and you sign Kirk Cousins coming off an Achilles injury, and no quarterback over the age of 30 has ever returned to the same level they were at after that injury, and you give him a 4-year, $180 million contract. That's a massive commitment. Then right after that, in the draft, with the 8th pick, you take a quarterback who has only had one fully healthy college season. You completely blindsided Cousins, the guy you just committed to 4 years to, and you take a quarterback with an injury history, and that's just going to strain the relationship with Cousins immediately. And I was at that draft in Detroit. The shock that was going on in, like, I don't know what you call it, in the pit, I'll call it, was just absurd. No one knew. I mean, the reactions were absolutely absurd. Then the season starts. Then Cousins is benched for Penix, but watching the Netflix show Quarterback, which Cousins was on, you find out he had a shoulder and elbow injury that the Falcons misdiagnosed it. So Penix is basically only playing because Cousins got hurt, which just shows how bad the medical team is there. Then this past draft, you trade a 2026 first-round pick to move back into the first round and take James Pierce from Tennessee, who's essentially been a part-time player right now. And that 2026 pick you traded is basically guaranteed right now probably to be a top 10 pick, going to the Los Angeles Rams. So here's the thing. With the talent Atlanta has, what is their excuse for being 3-7? Okay. They, at this rate, they're going to be looking for another quarterback in 2 years in the 2027 draft, another reset, another rebuild. Yep. And you have a lockdown corner in A.J. Terrell. You have 2 good safeties. You have a top 3 running back in Bijan Robinson. You probably have a top 25, top 30 running back in Tyler Algier. You have a top 10 wide receiver in Drake London. Yep. You have Kyle Pitts, and I know everyone's going to judge Kyle Pitts for being a high draft pick. But if you just look at his production, he's a good, solid player.
Solid player.
The roster is not the problem. It's the front office, the decision-making, the mismanagement. This is why this team is underperforming. And honestly, as long as there's chaos in the front, the Falcons are just going to be the Falcons. You know what I mean? They're just going to be that team we look at and they're like, dude, this team should be better than they are, but they're just underperforming because of the management and the ownership.
Yep. And I'm going to say coaching, game day coaching as well. The draft, to go back to that. I'm kind of a draft nerd, and that's the most shocking. I'm not going to say the worst, but it's the most shocking pick I've ever seen. When you take in the context of, already signing Cousins, it was absolutely bizarre to me. And then, you anytime a team brings in you pay $180 million for a quarterback, first thing you're trying to do is get weapons around him. And then they just go draft a guy who's going to compete with him for the starting job. I don't know. They, at that like they should have been firing everybody the next day. I mean, it's just unexplainable. But I feel bad. I mean, being from Austin, where Bijan played in college, I feel bad for him because he's an incredibly talented guy. I feel like they don't really know how to get the most out of him, and he's stuck on a terrible team.
They never give him the ball. Like,
Yep.
They never give him the ball. Bowling Green's ball, second and goal at Akron's 8. Dude, just grinding it out, dude. Love a little live action. Now, I totally lost my train of thought with that comment, and I apologize.
We're talking about Bijan.
Bijan, oh yeah. Also, that game when they're in Miami, playing Miami overseas, you're going for the go-ahead score, and Bijan Robinson is on the sidelines.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
One of the most dynamic players in the game.
What the fuck are you doing? It makes literally no sense to me. And that draft, I had the over. That was one of my biggest draft day bets ever. The over of JJ McCarthy. There was that talk that he was going to go really high. Harbaugh was hyping him up. I think it was over 5.5 or 6.5. That hit, and it was kind of like, where is McCarthy going to go? I had a huge bet that Dallas Turner, not huge, like a decent sized bet that Dallas Turner was going to go to the Falcons because that's when the Falcons had no pass rush. And they took him, and you're just kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? And like, even if you are going to take a quarterback, you're taking a quarterback that has only fucking had one healthy season. One season he was able to get through because of his knees. Hell, my knees are probably better than Michael Penix's knees. You know what I mean? And he's out for the year. Like, he's literally out for the year right now. He's done.
You can't say it's not predictable at this point.
Like,
I mean,
it
goes all the way back to when he was at Indiana before he was at Washington. I mean, this is not recent.
It shows you how bad of a pick it was. And I really feel like that pick to me kind of like changed a lot of the stuff in the draft, because in my heart of hearts, I really do feel that the Raiders thought that Penix was going to be there and they were going to draft Penix. And with Penix not being there, I think they did. Oh, I have a thumbs up. They did a panic move and just took Browers because he was the best player on the board. Because we need to remember they took Meyer the year before. Why are you doing that? You know. So I really feel that draft, and I think there was some other stuff with that. I don't know the draft, remember the order at the top of my head, but I think there was some other stuff that flipped with that draft order, because that pick was honestly, like you said, one of the biggest WTF picks in the world. Have you ever been to the draft before?
I've never been, because, for most of my life, it was just in New York, and they just recently started moving it around. But I definitely would like to go. The one that you went to in Detroit was just like a sea of people. I mean, that was incredible.
Like, it was disgusting. Like, I've been to two. I've been to Detroit, which was fun. Like, Detroit was fun. But the thing I didn't like about Detroit is it was right in the downtown, and everything was in a different neighborhood. So a different like block area. And the parking was brutal, dude, because you like had to park, and then you had to take a shuttle to the parking garage. You know what I mean? It was just brutal, man.
Green Bay this year? Am I making that
up? It was
up?
in Green Bay last year.
Last year.
The year it's in Pittsburgh this year.
Okay.
Shout out to our girl Kia in her hometown this year. Coming up. And then 2 years ago, it was in Kansas City. Dude, fucking blast in Kansas City, dude. It was at the train station. Fucking blast at Kansas City. But yeah, strongly suggest that. Everyone watching, if you haven't been to the draft, make sure to go to that. Let's get to what we're really here for. Talking a little shop, talking a little bets. But before we go all that, we need to take a look back to see how we did last week. Nice week last week, going 5-0-1. Sterling hit the Commanders and Dolphins under 47.5, Giants plus 7.5, and the 49ers money line. Old Uncle Rico hit Diggs over 53.5 receiving yards, Browns plus 9, but we pushed the Commanders plus 3. Overall, for the show. We are 41-24-1. So can't complain. Great week last week. Akron held and BG kicked the 3. That legit D from Akron. Yeah, dude, the Zips, baby. I make it a Zips t-shirt, dude. Zips football t-shirt if they're able to hold on to this. Yeah, dude, great week last week. Been a solid season. You were on early in the season. I'm glad you came back. Let's jump right into it. We each have 3 bets. And you know what? I'm going to turn my hat around for this bet, my friend.
Let's do it. All right. Lions laying the big number, 10.5. I would be comfortable taking the Lions all the way up to 14. I think this one has blowout written all over it. And before I give my reasons why, I think it's important to note that in the NFL, I typically don't like big spread favorites. I like to bet ugly. I like to a lot of times bet on teams like it's just nasty. Like you're betting on the Saints getting 10 points in a game where they should get run. But I think this one just sets up perfectly for the Lions. Part of the reason is I think the line's low. Obviously, they're the best 6-4 team in football. If you are to just look at some stats, if you were to look, for example, at offensive yards per play, they're 4th in the league. If you were to look at defensive yards per play allowed, they're 6th in the league. If you just put those stats out there, you've basically got a top 5 team on offense and defense. You would be expecting that team to be somewhere around undefeated and not 6-4. Additionally, they're coming off a loss where the defense held up well. The offense could not get it going for whatever reason. I joked on Twitter that Goff looked like Uncle Rico, not the handicapper, Uncle Rico throwing a football over those mountains. If I know Dan Campbell, they are going to come out firing against a team that is down and out in the New York Giants. The Giants are 29th in yards allowed. They are 29th in points allowed. They are 28th in how many yards they give up per play. Dart might be back for this one. I think he's still in the protocol, but he's trending towards back. I actually like him. That's the only reason I'm not just going to completely hammer this, because I feel like he's enough of a gamer. He might get him some first downs. But I really don't think they can make this a game. I'm going to take Detroit I've already put it in at 10.5, but I would take them anything under 14. I think they're a play. This is oddly a must-win game for them, and they're a very offensive team. Defense, not bad either. I don't see how the Giants keep up with them. I mean, the Giants' offense? What do they have left?
Here's an interesting trend for you. Off a straight-up loss, Campbell with Goff as his quarterback, 15-2, 88% against the number.
I believe it. He's a madman, and I hate to handicap coaches like that because it's not numbers based, really. It's just a feeling. But in this case, the numbers back it up. I mean, the way that offense played, they're going to take out some frustrations on a bad Giants defense.
Yeah. My next one, and I can't believe I'm doing this one. I'm taking the Raiders -3. We are fading Sanders on the road in his first start. Dylan Gabriel is in concussion protocol. I don't think he's going to be playing. The Browns have the worst pass blocking grade per PFF. Mason Crosby is going to be living in this backfield. Yeah. Now, look, it's a 1-game sample, but against pressure on Sunday, Sanders, 14.3% completion percentage, 1.4 yards per attempt, 0 TDs, 1 pick. He struggled with his pocket awareness. Now, look, I know people are going to say, what about the Browns defense? But when you look at it, they've been night and day home versus on the road. At home, they're allowing 15.4 points per game. On the road, 30. Everything gets worse. They're allowing more rushing yards, more passing yards, more total yards. This defense cannot travel. Hell, they even lost to the Jets on the road. Now, asking Geno Smith to win with margin against this defense, I get it. It's a big ass. But I think he can do enough. I think he'll be able to move the ball. I think he'll be able to lean on Bowers and Genty, string together some drives. Let's not forget Carroll as a home favorite off a loss, 55% against the number, 7.3% ROA. But he just bounces back. He just bounces back in these spots. It's disgusting. I hate it. But I'm trusting the Las Vegas Raiders to win with margin. Not just win, but to win with margin on Sunday, which I'll tell you, I absolutely hate it. And it's one of those things like I love betting a team that was in a standalone game that looked bad because that's what people are going to see. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And everyone's going to look at like, oh, wow, the Browns played Ravens tight quarter. You know what I mean? Oh, Sanders is going to be getting a start. Oh, this, Mason Crosby made Caleb Williams' life a living hell. And the Raiders should have won that game, but there was 5 turnovers. I just think this is a spot to fade. I'll take the Raiders. There's still some threes out there. Make sure to shop around. Next bet, my friend.
All right. If you've noticed a theme, it is big, heavy favorites at home in what are must-win games for them. I'm backing the Ravens at 13.5 against the lousy Jets. These are two teams going in completely different directions. The Jets are 2-8. They're trading away key pieces of their team. The Ravens are getting healthy finally. They've won 4 straight. They will be motivated. They're not going to let this one slip through the cracks for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're only 5-5. I still think we talked a little bit about, the preseason expectations for the Ravens. They're not there. I don't know if they're ever going to get there, but they are a much better than 5-5 team. Just started terrible. The offense looked pretty bad against the Browns. So this is very similar to the Lions, where you're now coming back home in a must-win game against a terrible team. So that usually shapes up for the offense to do some, some serious work. The offense looked bad against the Browns on the road last week. The Browns can play good defense at home, but really, even when they turn it on, they're hard to stop. They scored 13 in the fourth quarter to take the lead. This Jets team struggles to do anything offensively. They're 29th in offensive yards per play. They're 28th in total points. They're dead last in passing yards. And so what happens is they get behind, but they're dead last in passing, which means they're a ton of 3 and outs. So then when you have King Henry, Lamar Jackson, all these guys running at your defense constantly, it just has blowout potential written all over it. I think, mentioned not liking to take big spreads. I think these situations, it makes sense. And especially late in the season where one team has mailed it in. They've absolutely phoned in the season. They're trading away their team. Then you have them going on the road to a talented Ravens team who's still in desperation mode. It's going to be a blowout. I wouldn't play it over 14, but it would not surprise me if the Ravens won this game by 30 points.
Ravens to the house, dude. You know what I mean? Like
Ravens by 1 million. I mean, and I hate doing that. It seems like such a square bet, but it's like this. You're going to run through them.
So this is the thing with me with this game. Okay, I love Justin Fields, but you cannot tell me he has not regressed since being with the Steelers to here.
100%. He
is
getting worse by the week,
and that has to do with coaching.
Yep.
And you look, Garrett Wilson, he's done. He hurt his knee. But it pisses me off that they're scapegoating him. Like, you got Tyrod Taylor is Tyrod Taylor. You know what I mean? He's not an upgrade over Justin Fields. This Tanner Estrin guy is god fucking awful. He should not be a head coach an offensive coordinator at all. Aaron Glenn is, how can I word this? Like, look, I hate Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers said that they flew him out there to have a meeting with him just to tell him he's not the guy. You what? Like, why not just say, hey, you know what? We're moving in this direction. Okay, thanks. You know what I mean? That's what it should be. That's normally what it is with a franchise. Woody Johnson's bad-mouthing Justin Fields. Justin Fields has no time to react. He's not pushing the ball downfield anymore. They've totally ruined Justin Fields. Tanner Estrin has shown he's not an offensive coordinator. I mean, and Tyrod Taylor is going to be that guy with no passing options. Come on.
One thing that they were kind of doing well for a while was stopping the run. So some of their defensive stats gave me hesitation because obviously the Ravens are such a run-heavy team. But then you have to look at it. Well, they traded away their best defensive tackles. Like how good are those stats? They're literally just mailing it in. And so are you telling me this team's they're down 14, 17 points? They're going to fight? No, it turns into 30 real quick.
And look, dude, I love me the Jets. I was really high on them this year. I was one of the few futures I absolutely got wrong because they're brutal. They have no fight. Going out west, you got to shop around here. There are a couple threes, especially in the offshore market, but I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals +3. What do I say? Gambling is all about buying low, selling high, and there's a team lower right now than the Cards. I mean, they are just brutal right now. But this is one of my favorite angles, the rule of 17. Teams that coming off a loss of 17 or more that plays a team coming off a win of 17 or more. 59.3% against the number, 14.6% ROI. When they're home dogs, it bumps up to 61.3% ATS, 19.3% ROI. It's just one of those long-term plays. If you play it over time, you're cash. You're just sticking with the math. When you look at what Jacoby Brissett has been able to do with his offense, he's really opened it up. The Cardinals with him are averaging 23.6 points per game, with Brissett starting compared to 20.6 with Kyler. The lowest they've scored with Brissett at the quarterback is 22 points. With Kyler, they only cracked 22 points twice. This offense is just more functional, more efficient, which is Jacoby Brissett, mainly because he can do stuff under center. Kyler Murray couldn't. Now with the Jags, people are taking them as a serious contender in the AFC, could be a sleeper, if you will, could fight the Colts and come back. Look, did anyone watch the game last week? Doug Peterson basically said, look, Trevor Lawrence, you suck. We're going to run the ball 47 times. You know what I mean? They totally took the ball out of Trevor Lawrence's hands. That kind of tells me everything I need to know about what Cohn thinks of Lawrence. I know people are saying that Murray is going to be on the move. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be on the move. I'm going to be shocked if Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback next year in Jacksonville. Arizona's run defense has gotten better. Nolan came back from his injury. If they can limit the run, force Lawrence to actually beat them with an arm, I think he's going to struggle to do that. The Jags are 25th DVOA defending the tight ends. Trey McBride right now is the best tight end in football. Centerpiece of the Cardinals offense. So Brissett has taken over the quarterback. McBride, 11.4 targets, 8.4 receptions, 88.6 yards per game. He's going to eat. I think this is a bounce back spot for Arizona. Last week, the Jags bounced back after blowing that 14-point lead. Now I think they're primed for a letdown. I'm buying some Cardinal stock. Give me the Cardinals here, +3, my friend.
Let me tell you why the Jags shouldn't scare you. There's a lot of square bettors out there. They're just going to see that record.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's offense should scare nobody. I love it's a very basic stat, but yards per play, offensive yards per play. That tells you, if you look at teams by that, you can pretty much sort out the records. The Jacksonville Jaguars are 27th in average yards per play on offense. The only teams worse than them are the Saints, the Jets, the Raiders, the Titans, and the Browns. That's their company when it comes to offense. So now you're taking, to take them as a road favorite. I wouldn't do it. I'll put it that way. So I definitely do not hate your Cardinals pick.
Jags have been so bad this year. They've been so up and down. You know what I mean? And
you would say that maybe they're winning on defense. I mean, they're bottom half on yards allowed per play as well. So they're a bottom 5 or 6 team on offensive yards per play, and then they're a bottom half team on defensive yards allowed. Yet they have a winning record. To me, that's a team that it's going to even out in the wash.
And if they're going to try to run the ball, the Jags, I looked at it. The Cowboys under 100 yards rushing. The 49ers under 100 yards rushing. So I was going to see what it's been like since Nolan came back, but the Seahawks rushed for $198. You know what I mean? So the number is a little askew because the Seahawks just pounded the ball that game. But I feel that Nolan's going to be able to help their run game. Gannon is supposed to be a defensive genius, was great when he was with the Eagles. They're going to force Lawrence into beating them. I just think this is a spot. And if Harrison comes back from his appendicitis, which I don't know, man, how long does it take to come back from appendicitis?
I don't know. I think it depends on, how involved it was. If it was just a straight surgery, no complications, I don't know, a few weeks.
When will Marvin Harrison,
I was going to say a month maybe,
be back? All right. But he could potentially return in week 12 or week 13.
Yeah.
So I mean, if he's back, that will open it up a little bit more too. Next one, my friend, and you know what? I love me the boys. I love me some boys. Cowboys. I love me some Cowboys.
I saved my favorite pick for last. This is an absolute hammer play. We all know the Dallas offense has become an absolute juggernaut. They rank second in points, third in yards, first in passing yards. It's a spectacle to watch them. When Pickens gets going at wide receiver, it's not fair to have him on the field with CeeDee Lamb and Dak throwing to him. It is like an all-star team out there. Everybody knows that part, but what people don't really realize is that the Philly defense is statistically not that impressive. They rank middle of the pack in just about every stat. They struggle to get off the field on third down. Now they face Dak, who has the best receiving targets in the league. Pickens just last night went for 144 yards and a touchdown. He's in a contract year. I don't think people realize this because he's moved around. He's still on a rookie deal. He's making $3.7 million this year, and that guy is going to get paid. The obvious flaw with Dallas, though, has been the defense, but they almost have a completely new team from where they started the year. They have a number of new starters. Quinnen Williams, we mentioned the Jets selling their team off for scraps, came over at D tackle. That's big. They got Logan Wilson coming over from the Bengals at linebacker. Overshone is back from injury as he's a major disruptive factor. And now Revel is back for the first time at corner. He missed extended time with an ACL injury. He was 100% a first-round talent that the Cowboys managed to snag in the third round. But he's healed well. He played last night. He looked great. You can't really look at the Cowboys' numbers on defense because they've got 4 new starters out there, and all of them are an upgrade. So, new look defense, but Philly should put them to the test, right? Well, Philly ranks 24th in yards per play on offense, 28th in total passing yards. They're in the bottom half in rushing yards. They're 28th in third down conversions. And that's where Dallas defense has been getting killed. They're dead last in getting off the field on defense. That's where teams take advantage of them. But I don't see how the Eagles are going to be able to do that. I think the Cowboys are going to improve on that number on Sunday. Dallas lost to the Eagles in week 1 in Philly. Very competitive game. Even with the defensive mess and the injuries, they only lost by 4 points. In that game, Dallas had more yards, more first downs, but the Eagles didn't turn it over a single time, and that was a difference. But now Dallas is at home. They're a better team than they were. Give me the Cowboys. I'll take the 3.5 points, and I will sprinkle the money line. I think the line for this game should be right around 0, right around even. Coin flip game.
The first game of the season, if CV catches that ball, I mean, they could easily win that game.
Absolutely. And the defense was trash then. It is going to be a totally different defense. It may be too little too late, but it is going to be a totally different defense from yesterday through the end of this season.
And I think they're going to be able to run the ball. I think they'll get a little success getting the ball a little bit to the outside, stay away from Davis, stay away from Carter on the inside. Yep. And I think you got Carter, Jesus. You got Pickens taking the ceiling off. You got CD working underneath. You got Ferguson. Yeah, I like this a lot. And Dak is having one of the best seasons, and no one is talking about it. He really is having a solid season.
I've got a friend who just keeps betting him. I think every week he bets him to win the MVP again, just because if they go on a run, it's not likely, but he's getting like plus 3,000 or something. I mean,
took him 50 to 1 at the beginning of the season. I mean, like I thought it was a great bet just because the last time he played a full season, he finished second in the race, and you could make an argument he should have won it.
He's got weapons.
My final bet, I'm going to Old Faithful. Give me the Steelers plus 3. Teams that have won 3 straight games by 5 points or less over the last 20 years are 12-23 in that next game. You know what I mean? So they're due for a little bit of regression after winning these close games like the Bears have. You know my rule. Tomlin's a dog, 64.6% in that role. And I know people are going to freak out. Oh, what about no Aaron Rodgers? Mason Rudolph with Tomlin as a coach is 6-1 ATS as a dog. Tomlin is 60% ATS as a road dog. Now let's talk about Chicago. They're begging for turnover regression. They're plus 16 in turnover differential, the best in the league by a mile. They have 15 interceptions this season, have only thrown 4. That's not sustainable, especially against the Steelers defense with the legit pressure rate. Some metrics have the Bears as one of the worst 7-3 teams of the last decade. PFF grades the Steelers 12th, the Bears 15th, DVOA, Steelers 14th, Bears 25th. This market is treating these teams like they're on different tiers, but they're not. And the impact is the Steelers love to bring pressure. They blitz at the 4th highest rate in the league. Caleb Williams via Summer Sports has just a 36.1% completion percentage, a 3-2 TD to INT ratio, 4.3 yards per attempt against pressure. He struggles when things get muddy. And the Steelers restore in this game. The Bears defense is bad across the board. 28th DVOA, 22nd DVOA versus the pass, 28th DVOA versus the run. PFF, 25th overall, 22nd against the run, 24th in just pass rush, 26th in coverage. Whoever plays quarterback for Pittsburgh, they're going to be able to move the ball. The Bears are the talk of the league right now. I live in the Chicagoland area. And look, it's great out here when the teams do well because people hype up. It's just a better area to live. But this team could easily be 7-3, 3-7 instead of 7. This team, they're basically even money. Like my takeaway was going to be the Bears not to make the playoffs, and I looked at the odds and it wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? Like it literally wasn't worth it to do it.
The Lions are the best 6-4 team in the league. The Bears are the worst 7-3 team, not just in the league, in a long time. I mean, how many games they could have lost? Most of the games that they won.
They should have lost to the Raiders. Still pissed. That was the one that knocked me out of Circa. Still pissed about that, but whatever.
They could have lost to the Giants. They could have lost to the Bengals.
Should have lost to the Bengals.
Commanders they beat by 1.
Yeah,
the Raiders they beat by 1. I mean, they're not good.
They're just so due for regression. Whatever is what it is. I'm gonna give them to me. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let's just go through a little review for everyone. We have the Lions minus 10.5, the Raiders minus 3, the Ravens minus 13.5, the Cards plus 3, Cowboys plus 3.5, and the Pittsburgh Steelers +3. There you have it. Love when you come on, my friend. It always seems like we're talking for 2 minutes. We've already gone 45 minutes just talking. Appreciate you coming on. Looking forward to having you on again. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on social media, my friend?
Absolutely. King Midas Bets on Twitter. And I'm going to stop promising that I'm going to get on other social media platforms because I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be on Twitter, King Midas Bets. Right now, I'm doing a free play a day, every single day, till the end of 2025. So it's going to be all college football, college basketball, NFL football. NFL hadn't been the best season ever, but I do have a winning record. I'm 45, 42-1. But college basketball, probably my best sport. I'm off to a 7-4 start. Make money every single year doing it. So right now, if you follow me, free play a day. Can't go wrong with that. And maybe my record's getting better. Let's check the Akron score. I'm scared to check it.
No, they won. There's an interception. They won. You're good. You're good.
Free money, everybody.
You're good.
If you tailed, you had free money. And my man here, cash and futures.
Dude, look at that, dude. Cash and futures, just grinding it out. Now I just need Boise State to stop scoring and let Wichita get back in it, which has been going night and day for Wichita. We'll be back next week for our Thanksgiving extravaganza with the man, the myth, the legend, XFL Jim. Make sure to check that out. Best of luck in all your bets. We'll talk soon, my friend. And let's go Lions.
Let's go Lions.